Good afternoon, everyone. This is Christian with PerfectStockAlert.com, a 100% free service for smart investors and traders. All we ask in return, please refer a friend. Today is Thursday. It's May the 10th, 2012. We're going to be looking once again at the U.S. markets. There's some tricky stuff going on. I want to show you guys this and kind of give you guys some heads up on it before it happens. Sorry I'm late today. Like I told you guys earlier this week, I had finals this week. I just took my last one, so I'm done now. And I've got the summer, or at least the first summer semester off, so on summer break. So I'm going to be spending a lot more time making tutorial videos to put up on the website at PerfectStockAlert.com. You guys know we have tons of videos there on teaching you guys different aspects of technical and fundamental analysis. So I'll be continuing that now that I've got a break going on at the school. What I'm looking at the Dow Jones Industrial Average, I'm looking, and we talked about this for a while. Let me get the tools here. We see this major setup pattern going on right now. We got a peak here at the major resistance, sell off, and we do it again, sell off, we do it again, we sell off. We come up here again, we actually get a higher high. You'll notice that we had the bearish divergence at that time period here and here, trending down, even though price was actually trending up between those points, so we knew that this was unsustainable anyway. So she just basically consistently fails at this level. Then she sells off substantially for about 6 consecutive days in a row, and a lot of volatility in the move right now. So you've had a big move to the downside, and we told you that that was not going to be something that could just continue to go straight down. No market move straight down or straight up. At some point, you go too far and you actually shoot back to the upside. But because we've got this major resistance up here, we don't see this move to the upside as being a reversal situation or a beginning of a new bull market or something like that. We just see it as a counter trend bounce. Now here's the deal. Sometimes you can trade the counter trend bounce and you can make money on the upside and then back to going short again and make money to the downside. And other times the counter trend bounce will end up being a fake, or it's a very small move. So instead of, let me clean that up. So instead of seeing something like you've seen before, back here we sold off for a good bit and then we had a nice sized counter trend bounce. What may happen here is you get a counter trend bounce after a major sell off. You get a little bounce and then you get moving lower. And in some cases, let me clean that up again, you won't even get that much of a bounce. Back here you had a very nice one, but in this case here, you get this move to the downside. You may have already seen the peak of this bounce, and that's a rare occurrence. So I want to provide some caution here. I could actually be wrong in this. So here's what you can do. And in this chart, I wouldn't do it, but I'll show you some other ones with a little stronger hammer candlestick formations and different signals that people could trade. So I'll give you both sides of the scenario, but I'm going to show you why I'm not going to do it on this chart. On this particular chart, we're looking at this being the support here. You broke through it here, but basically we feel bounced off that area. So in this range here, we do have a support, right? We've been working on that. We're seeing it in a lot of charts. And even we yesterday pulled back down here at that level, started getting some buy pressure there, and we jumped back up. So what you're seeing here is a support line. The actual situation that I believe is going to happen is we're going to break or take this support out. So in order to do that, we have to close below this low point here. Now, whether we do it the way I'm looking at it happening or the whether it takes a little more time and we rally for a couple of days, I'm not absolutely positive, but I do know that this is going to break down. So when we're looking at that, I say, okay, do I want to attempt to go long here, trade up to the upside, and then go short again as she breaks down? I'm not sure I can do that effectively. You may get stopped out in your shorts. We've actually already been stopped out of a lot of our short positions. So I want to make sure I get short again before that breakdown happens. So there's different ways you can do it. One, you could wait for the breakdown to occur. We close down here, then you go short. Or you can try to find the peak whenever you get to the top of a counter trend bounce and then go short. Now here's a catch. In most cases, when you have a rally, you rally at some point, you get a shooting star formation, which looks like an inverted hammer. The difference between the shooting star and the inverted hammer is where it's at on the pattern. If you have a rally and then it shows up, then that is the shooting star formation. That's the sell signal you're looking for. If you had the same thing back here. You had a situation here, and you got one there and there. If you have a situation where you sell off and then you see one form, it's actually telling you the opposite. It tells you to look for a bounce to the upside. So that's another reason why bulls will be looking at this market saying, okay, we're going to try to go long. However, there are rare occurrences where this is actually telling you the opposite. It's telling you that you should sell it. But it's only in cases where the support that you're at is about to break down. And again, what I've already talked about, this support right here, I believe is going to break down. That makes me cautious of seeing this as a buy signal. In fact, I'm looking at it saying that could be your sell signal. I won't short it at this moment. I want to see the next day. If the next day, like on Friday, if we start to sell off and we get a lower series, let me clean that up. If we get a lower series of highs and lows compared to this candlestick is high. If tomorrow's day, we actually, let's say we gap up to here or something, and then we start selling off right here. If I see something like this, then I would short it and set a stop right here, and then continue to stay short on that trade. That's just something that could happen. I just kind of wanted to bring it to your attention. Not sure I've even explained it well enough for you guys here, but it's just something that can happen. It's something you need to be aware of. And like I said, I'm not seeing a lot of strength out there in these markets, and so I'm not all that bullish. Let's take a moment now to look at the EWJ, or the Japan iShares, and kind of confirm what I'm talking about here. And back during this time period, we saw this big sell-off here, and we get a hammer candlestick formation calling for reversal back to the upside, which I said would make a lot of sense because you got this big gap between this point here and this point here. So to see a jump up here, it would make sense. So we try to trade that with a stop set off here. The very next day, we get a shooting star formation. Not a shooting star, but an inverted hammer, because it's at the bottom of the pattern, basically. So that would be telling you to look for confirmation to be another move to the upside. However, you'll notice it breaks down, and it was at that key area that we talked about. You've got major support there, and that's where you would expect to be seeing that. But when you see it like this, it can actually indicate the opposite. That in fact, you're not going to be rallying to the upside and getting a bounce like we're talking about, but you're actually going to start to break down through it. So that's why I'm kind of being cautious with the Dow Jones right now, seeing that particular candlestick formation as being, this may be one of those rare occurrences where you're not actually getting a call to the upside, you're actually getting another sell signal at support telling you you're going to break through support. Let's have a look now at the NASDAQ. In this particular chart, we've already been stopped out of our short position here. We saw this nice move to the upside here. We saw this hammer candlestick formation and saw the potential for a move to the upside. If you were long, you could have made money there. But once she had gapped up like this, we didn't want to mess with it. We didn't want to try to chase this higher. We knew that this gap would fill, so we started looking for short opportunities. We got a couple ones here and there. I took those and they made much money. Then a couple days ago, we get this hammer candlestick formation, and we said, all right, this is one of those situations where it's going to be, people are going to start looking for the long trade to the upside, but we believe it's a counter trend trade to the upside, and we didn't want to buy it. In this particular case, I didn't buy it. Typically, I will, but like I said, it's counter trend, so I don't expect a lot of money to be made on the upside there. And then the next couple of days, we see something interesting. No strength, no follow-through on the next day to the upside. Again, even today, even though we had a higher series of highs and higher series of lows from one candlestick to the next, right between these 2 days, this day here and this day here, you'll notice the candlestick formation is dark cloud cover. It's not showing real strong momentum by buyers saying, yes, we've hit a bottom, buy, and rally higher. In fact, we've got a lower low than we had back here. So these are signs showing us that, if anything, we can tell from this chart, we know that bulls are, or buyers are, less convinced to be a buyer here than they were the last time over here. That's why you were able to go lower. Sellers were able to push the price actually lower. So I'm really not really bullish on this chart. And in fact, if I get it, if I see it close down below 2,900, I would start shorting again. I'm already stopped out of this position at this time. But if we do get a counter trend move to the upside, I'd be looking for another sell signal, another one of these shooting star formations, so I can get short at that point. But something else that's caught my attention today. If you look at this up here in the ultimate oscillator, you can see the momentum indicated here, coming up close to 70, then pulling back down here, and then going up here now at 57.63. And look at where you're at from the actual high points of the price. You can see that you had this time period here, your close was here, you can see we're way up here, and now we're coming up close to the same level, yet we're still way down here, our closes. So what I'm seeing is it's setting up to actually break down, like I've been talking about the other charts. This is setting up to give you the ability to break down and drive much lower. If you are actually pulled back down here at the 30 line or under the 30 line, you'd be saying, okay, she's getting oversold and she's probably going to bounce. But we're not seeing that. We're at 57.63. So again, the logic here that we're going to make a bigger move to the upside, even though it's a counter trend, I just don't see enough confidence there to try and go long this market. I'm not going to do that. I'm going to sit back and wait for a short entry opportunity, because this low and this support line is going to get taken out. One last item to consider here on the NASDAQ is any move that you have to the upside is going to have to be limited. And this is why. When you have a rally here, if you get a rally here, you start moving higher, your ultimate oscillator is also going to start moving higher. Before long, it's going to be above the 70 line. That's going to give you a bearish divergence where you're going to have a high point here and a higher high here, trending up like this. And yet your high point here is not going to be anywhere near your current high point. So you're going to have a bearish divergence telling you that that rally is unsustainable anyway. So you're going to end up making a small move to the upside if you do that, and then shoot lower again. So there's no reason for me to be a buyer here. It's just too risky. Looking now at the Russell 2000 Small Cap Index, basic same story here. We've been talking about this. I'm very bearish this particular chart because of this major head and shoulders formation that we've been talking about for several weeks now. And this is now pulled back down towards the neckline. A close below the neckline would actually confirm your head and shoulders formation as well as be a short entry opportunity. So you could take it at that point. But again, I want to point out, you've got two hammer candlestick formations, and then the following day you still get no real motivated move by bulls to the upside here. In fact, you get another shooting star formation, or actually in this case it'd be an inverted hammer. But I'm actually questioning that logic, saying, is this actually the end or the peak of your bullish move to the upside that we've been looking for after having a big sell-off? I think you may have actually seen that this is not going to be a good strong buy opportunity. In fact, it's another sell signal, and we're going to actually close below this neckline here, and that would confirm the head and shoulders formation, which means we could take the distance from the high point of the head down to the neckline, do the math there, get that number, and then subtract that from the breakout point, and we will know how low we're going to go. It gives us a target. So you can see there's a big move to the downside still forming here. Also, again, look at the ultimate oscillator. High point here. Pretty nice high point here. You're not under the 30. Back here, you are under the 30 point, and when you get down there, you expect to find it's oversold, and she's going to bounce to the upside. You can get a good move that way. Back here, same thing. Nice move to the upside. Here, we're not there. We're at 61.29. There's no reason that we have to bounce here. We can actually continue to move lower, and substantially so. Another thing to point out here, any little move to the upside, you're going to again be finding yourself in the same scenario where you're going to get either a nice overbought condition and a nice bearish divergence form like you had before. We talked about this before here and here. You had this nice little trending up there. You get the corresponding time frames on the price chart activity, which is a bearish divergence, saying this is going to fall apart. Different type of bearish divergence, but the same basic story. So all in all, I see no reason to get bullish these markets, even though you may have a couple of days to the upside. I wouldn't be a buyer. That's just me personally. However, I must admit, this is a difficult call because it's a very rare occurrence where you have a scenario where you can actually determine the exact point or the exact sell signal at a support line that's going to break down. It's very hard to do. So, you can trade it how you like. I would either sit in cash and prepare to go short. If you're going to go long, keep a tight stop. The SPX, same overall story with the candlestick formation, another sell signal in my opinion here at this particular time. Typically, like I said, if I had a sell-off and then I got one of these, I would look at that as calling for a move to the upside. But in this case, I'm just not convinced that this is a good time to be attempting to buy situation. I have enough evidence stacked in my favor. We've already talked about this in the past, but we'll do it again. You got a high point here, a lower high here. It means you're trending down, confirmed by the low points, lower lows, lower lows. You are obviously in a downtrend. To trade within that trend, you want to stack the odds in your favor. The best way to do that is to trade with the trend, meaning that you would be, in this case, shorting, finding that bounce to the upside as a sell signal opportunities. This one, I expect this low point here will be actually taken out. I don't think this is actually true support. You can see we came back near it again, and we've already taken out these, which we talked about as the same time period being the same reality, was they're not actually the bottoms. I don't believe we've actually hit a bottom here. If we do get a bounce, I'd be looking for some resistance. Be looking for some sell signals like we have like here. Anything like that, be looking at it. Right now, this market it's making a major peak, and that's seen on both the longer term charts and the shorter term charts. I would be very cautious if I were long. Okay, on all the charts that I've just shown you that have shooting star formations, which I believe are this time at the bottom of the pattern here, telling you that you're going to break down to the downside, I have issued an if and then alert on this chart, and I will update all the other charts that are kept on our PerfectStockAlert.com website to show you that if we started to see a lower low tomorrow from this candlestick formation, if we start, like I said, we do the gap up here and start rolling over and selling off or something like that, and getting some confirmation of a sell side strategy there, I would take that sell opportunity if I went a little bit lower, and then be keeping my stop right here for the start of this position back in on the short side. Expecting the markets to fall lower, and it's possible to happen on Friday. Going into the weekend, you had to be some pretty gutsy people to be buying and holding over the weekend with what's going on in Europe, Spain, so forth and so on. So you could see some more selling. Okay, now you guys know what I know looking right now at the charts, and we'll get more clarity come on Friday. All right. If you've not been to our free website at PerfectStockAlert.com, it's right there. It's 100% free, and all we ask in return, please refer a friend, aka share our videos online. God bless, take care, enjoy your evening, and I will see you all tomorrow. Please take a moment to review our disclaimer. The information provided herein is our opinion only. Under no circumstances do any statements here represent a recommendation to buy or sell securities or make any kind of an investment. You are responsible for your own due diligence. To summarize, we do not provide investment advice, nor do we make any claims or promises that any information here will lead to a profit, loss, or any other result. These videos are for educational purposes only.